Welcome, everybody. Getting ready to go live right now. Welcome to another presentation of Clear Blue Radiance. Today is June the 9th, 2022. And of course, it is 1 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, Daylight Saving Time. Hope you will have a good day today, no matter what you're doing. Today is an opportunity for me hi there, Amber, to continue with what I was doing last week. And so before we get started with that, I've been a spiritual counselor since the mid 1970s. I really enjoy and love helping people like yourself get clear with your life, to try to find a clear way to understanding the particular path that you are on for yourself, and also to help you define or redefine your purpose in life. And so connected here with Resident Essentials, located here in Albuquerque, New Mexico. I'm one of the practitioners. I specialize in teaching meditation. So today, though, many of you may not know, I also do numerology, and I've been doing numerology since 1974. And I'm putting a lot of different things together. So this particular topic today is based on a topic I did last week. It was, you are more than just a few names. Is it possible you have a number two? And so this is kind of part two. Last week I just briefly spoke on the birthday numbers 1 through 31, but I reduced them to the single digits of 1 to 9. And so today I'm going to talk briefly on what is personal year numbers and how to find your personal year number. So, a personal year number, a personal year cycle, is basically defined as what's going on in the current year for you. That's what it basically is. What should you be focused on, or what are you already doing that's taking you further down the path so that you would have a better year? And it's basically found by taking our birth month numbers and the way the birth month numbers are calculated so that it's easy. January is the first month, and of course, December is the 12th month. So if you go straight down the line, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So December would be the 12th month. November would be the 11th month, right? October would be looked at as the 10th month, September is the ninth month, and just going all the way up until you get your number for your month. Then, what I do as a numerologist, I take the birth date number that you were born on, not the birth year, but the birthday number. Hey, good afternoon. Hey, Swanda, how you doing? So what happens is, now I didn't put it through like a little webinar clip here, but if you just follow this, it'll be very simple for yourself. So we take also the birthday number. Now you could take the compound number, which is good to do because it gives you a closer look, a truer reading, rather than just reducing it. So if you're born on any of the compound numbers within any month from 10 to 31, then you would take them and reduce them to a single digit. Then we add those two numbers together vertically, and then we take the number and we add that to the current year that you're looking at. Now, here's the trick. If your birthday hasn't come up yet, then what you would be doing is looking at from the previous year. So today is June the 9th. But if you were born July, in the month of July, then you would take your birth month, birthday number. The number for July would be 7. Any day that you're born on in the month of July, and then you would add that to 2021. Why? Because that's when your personal year cycle began. Your personal year cycle begins on the day that you are born. the day that you are born, that's when it starts. Okay. So now you can get a glimpse of what the year would be like. But however, it's going from the day that you're born on to the day before your birthday arrives again. So if you're born in the month of July, you're going to look at, let's say if you're born on July the 3rd, you're going to look at July the 3rd of 2021 going up to July the 2nd of 2022. Then on July the 3rd of 2022, that's when your new personal year cycle would begin. Okay. So to make it simple for you, 2022 is a 6 and 2021 is a 5. So again, if your birthday is in the month of July, August, all the way through the end of the year, and you want to look at it, you need to look at the year before, attach your birth month to your birthday number. So that would be, if we were using July the 3rd, that would be 7 plus 3 is 10. And then you're going to add that to 2021. So you would get, if I'm looking at it clearly, 2021, 21 plus 10, that's 31. So that's 2031. So that means your personal year cycle from last year into the day before your birthday this year in July will, if it's on the 3rd, will be a 6. Okay, and that's how you're going to look at it. Now, other people have other ways, and those ways are cool too. My friend Lloyd Strayhorn takes it where he just covers the whole year for you, no matter where your uh, birth month and birthday numbers are within the year. And that is good for teaching people to have a quicker understanding of things. But both systems work. Okay, both systems work. So, what I'm doing here, I just picked out a few keywords to connect to your personal year number. So if you got a pencil and a pen or a paper, I want you to vertically write down, just like this. You're going to say birth month, put in brackets the month. Then to the right of that space, I want you to put the number that represents your month. So again, if you're born in January, that's month 1. If you're born in February, that's 2. If you're born in March, that's 3. If you're born in April, that's 4, and so on. Okay. If you're born in October, you won't put 1 because 1 would mean January. You must write 10. If you're born in November, you can't write 2 because that would be February. You must write 11. If you're born in December, you can't write 3 because it's a 12. And so 12 is December. Then right underneath that, I want you to say birthday number. And you put down the number in brackets, whatever the number is, and then carry that same number outside the bracket underneath the month number. All right. Now you're not going to use your birth year because you were born during that time of your birth year number, but that's not that year now. So you're going to write in, if you were born in July, you're going to write in the year before, which is 2021. And you're going to put it right under. And the way you got to put it under there, you got to put the 1 under the units column. You got to put the 2 under the tens column. You got to put the 0 under the hundreds column. And you got to put the other 2 under the 1000s column. And you cannot leave out 20. Some people just take the last 2 digits and add that, but you don't get a true reading. And now I call those numbers like 19, whatever, 20, whatever, I call that the governor. That's the one that rules the whole century. Okay. So you don't want to mess with the governor. You want to leave the governing number in, which happens to be 20. Then when you get your numbers all set up, now you could add a cross if you want, one number at a time. Or what I like to do is I put a line, imaginary line in my mind between the 20 and then whatever the other 2 digits are, which tells me to add the digits to the left to the digits to the right. and then I come up with a number, and then what I want you to do is reduce it to a single digit. Now I know a lot of people will say, what if it comes out to 11? Or what if it's a 22? What if it's a 33? What is well, those numbers have significance. However, each one of those master numbers falls into what? It falls within the series of a single digit. That means if you're looking at, let's say you're born on the 11th or you're born on the 22nd, well, how did you get to the number? It didn't pop out in that manner. Logically, it's in the series. 11 is in the series of the 2. Okay? So it's 22. But 22 is actually in the series of the 4. 33 is in the series of the 6. 44 is in the series of 4. It just goes on and on and on and on and on. And plus, when we pronounce the number like 22, we're saying 20, and in our mind there's a pause, and then we say 2. So you can if you want, but you don't have to. That's my particular preference. My preference is I reduce everything as much as I can. Then I go back and I add in the compound number because that's the number behind the scenes that's working out. And then the single digit is out in front. So let's say you found your number, your personal year number. What you're going to do is we're going to look at it briefly. If your personal year number happens to be a 1, this means you're going to be independent of other people. You have to. You can rely on other people if you want, but you need to learn how to rely on yourself. In other words, you'll learn whatever it takes to learn. Maybe if you're in computers or you're doing podcasting or you're doing broadcasting on a radio station or TV station, you still have to learn some of those things. Maybe you're in a radio station and you see the person manning the board. It would be good for you to go to school and learn how to work the board. Then you know how to get the depth or the pitch, tenor into a voice that doesn't have any tenor. Or the person might sound too tinny. Well, you're in that engineering room, you could drop those knobs down and make that person have a more full voice, more like a second tenor or bass or baritone kind of voice. So you want to learn these different things. And as you know, those of us that are constantly doing podcasting, things are changing all the time. Just as you get accustomed to one setup, it changes again. So it's always about staying on the ball. So if you're in a one personal year, it's about learning to be independent of other people, right? Rely on yourself first and also learn to have a healthy self esteem. That's very important. If you don't have any self worth or love yourself, you can't expect other people to love you. And if you're not happy with yourself, you can't expect other people to make you happy. Why? Because you become like a burden to them. So you learn how to make yourself happy. Well, what if your personal year number is the number 2? 2 means to develop healthy relationships and partnerships, and is also learning to pay attention to details, even in conversation with people. Many times our minds can be all over the place, can be scattered, or we might have something else on our mind while someone is talking to us. And if that's the case, you kind of have to stop what you're doing and start to tune in to what the person is saying to you so you don't misconstrue it. Okay. Also, sometimes we have to get our feelings out of the way too, because sometimes a person might be giving us good, solid information. And I know it happens to me all the time. A person will say something to me, my mind is elsewhere, or I'm thinking about something in the past, and then I say something. And I may regret later. Okay. So it happens. So we have to, when you're in a two personal year, you got to get into details a little bit more. If you're a person that's in a business setup, you have some type of partner that you want to get into business with, a person that you kind of trust at the moment, you're going to have to what? Check their background. You're going to have to sit down and talk and see if what expertise do they bring to the table? If they're punctual people or not, you need to know all those things. Sometimes you might go into business with a person, they're more comfortable being out front talking to people, where you're more comfortable being behind the scenes, getting, like they say, the more difficult detailed stuff done. Okay, so if you're in a two personal year and you're involved in relationship or partnership, you may want to do that. While all you're on right now, since I'm talking about this, invite some friends to kind of tune in so they can get this information. I'd like to thank everybody that's on here right now, such as Amber and Swanda and Jackie Fillmore. Antoine, thanks for tuning in today, and whoever number four is besides myself. Thank you. Now, here's something else you want to be aware of when you're in a two personal year. Two is a water element, and the one is a fire element. So if you're in a one personal year, you got that fire element, so it can make you more outgoing. But when you have that two energy, which is a water element, you're a little bit more internal. You're internalizing thoughts, you're internalizing feelings. And sometimes you see something, because two is very good at observing. Ones will observe and then move forward. A two vibration will observe and feel it, then move forward or not move forward at all. They'll stand still. Okay. So that's something that you need to know. Now, also, I should add into this. If you're in a one personal year, the best way to learn how that works is see the people around you who are born on the 1st, 10th, 19th, and 28th. Or are they born in the first month or the 10th month? They have more of a vibratory feeling to be more independent. Okay. Again, if they're born on the 1st, 10th, 19th, or 28th of any month, they're also independent people, and this is how you can pull on that information. Or if you know your numerology well enough, maybe their vowels, their emotional energy has that one vibration or the two vibration, whatever you're trying to connect with. So if you're in the two personal year, try to find out, see if you got people in your life that are born on the 2nd, the 11th, the 20th, or the 29th. Be helpful to you to know that information. If your personal year number is a three, this is a good time to develop creativity in your life and stick to your principles. It's also a good time, if you don't have any creative skills, is to acquire some. Maybe take a painting class, an art class in painting or drawing or sculpture, or go outside and just walk amongst nature a little bit. Three, though, has a tendency to be very youthful. So at sometimes you'll be childlike, not so much in your mannerisms, just in being inquisitive. Children always want to know. They're always observing. They're looking at things and people around themselves. Also, if you have this energy of the three, if you have any fur family members around, you want to pay more attention to them and make sure they're healthy and they feel adjusted in your home. Now, also with that three personal year number, I kind of see it as a number of laughter. Go out and have some fun, entertain yourself, take in a movie, go to a sporting event, go to a live concert if you can, go to a jazz club, a rock club, go to a place where you can hear music, or go to a museum. That will help you as well. Those are the things that work well with the number three personal year. If you have a four personal year, this is a good time to develop a sturdy foundation. Okay, it's all right to think outside the box occasionally, but use simplicity and strive for structure. That's very important. Now, sometimes when you're heading or going in this four personal year number, there's a tendency where you might be in opposition to something that's going on around yourself or another person. This doesn't mean that you stop anything that you're doing. It just means you take a closer look, okay, at what you might be doing, and also what the other person or the other people might be doing, because you don't need to be butting heads. Okay, usually when you have the nature of the four, it's also a slow moving number, and sometimes things change up sporadically or abruptly, I would say. Now, the nature of the four is like a maverick. So, you could be dealing with someone who's like a revolutionary type thinker. They're not interested in being inside of a box because they're accustomed to working outside that box, which is also meaning they're a little bit like the number one. They want to work on their own. Okay, four means they got a foundation in place. They understand the basic elements that they're working with, and they're not afraid to work those elements by themselves. And the good thing, if you're in a four personal year, is you're staying organized as much as possible, as well as not being disorganized. And strive not to have too much confusion going on. If you're in a five personal year, this is a time where you're trying to maintain your freedom. That means how you're speaking, how you're expressing yourself, also your movement. If you feel like you're supposed to get up and take a trip, a short trip or a long trip, plan it out and then do it. Follow through on it. That's very, very important. Here's something else that you might want to do. When you're having this five, also like the three, you want to avoid scattering yourself. Sometimes under a five personal year, you could find yourself all over the place. You're planning a trip, a short trip, a long trip, but you're not sure when you're going to take it. Okay. You're trying to do too many things. Yeah, you're good at multitasking, but sometimes you start missing some things. Sometimes you put some things aside and then you can't find them, like car keys, a wallet, your ID, things of that nature. So slow down. You're in a five personal year. Don't try to move too quick. Now, if you're good at doing research, do your research, but gather all the details before you speak them. Because there's a tendency when you're in a five personal year, you say something and you don't have all the facts, you don't have all the data, and then you want to be sitting around cooking it up, especially if you have people around you who are very detailed oriented in terms of information. Also, during this time, you want to use more balance and moderation when you're in a five personal year. So if you're accustomed to driving fast down the road in a five personal year, slow down. Take your time. Don't be in a big hurry. That's essential. Now, three and five deal sometimes with the nerve system in the body. So make sure you get proper rest if you're in a five personal year. All right. Now, if you're in a six personal year, what's so unique about a six personal year? Well, you're going to develop a love for family and friends, but you want to be more loyal. So you might want to find out which friends are loyal to you. You might want to find out if your siblings are loyal to you, or are you loyal to them? All that means is will you stand by their side when things are rough and difficult? Or will you scatter and run? When you're in a six personal year, you want to stand by that person's side. Now, I flip that six upside down and it's a nine. You may not have anybody standing there by your side. It just happens that way. Maybe they're not supposed to be there because that nine is sort of like a one. You got to do it on your own. Okay. Be confident enough that you got the skill to do it. But let's flip it back up, right side up into the six. Okay. So that nature of the six sometimes is learning to be in service. Is there somebody around you you could do something for? Is there a senior that needs help? Go help them get their groceries or go get the groceries for them. Do they need a ride somewhere? Or does this person who's in this, when you're in the sixth personal year, makes you think about Taurus and Libra? Are there any Taurus and Libra people around you that you need to connect with? See, if you're in that five personal year, do you have any Virgos and Gemini people around you? If you're in a four, do you have any Aquarius people around you? If you're in a three, do you have any Sagittarian people around you? If you're in that one personal year, do you have any Leo people around that you could depend on or that you could do something for? So these numbers have many different correspondences and connections to them. So in that sixth personal year, you know, like the three, the six will hear some criticism, but it's okay. Just hear it, take it in, and then work with it accordingly. What is also great too is when you're in the sixth personal year, is developing love, but it's also love of everybody that you meet. But how do you love them? Do you love them at a distance? Sometimes you may have to. But it's best to love them unconditionally. no strings attached, just as they are. So if they have some high points in their life, fine. It's great positive moments. Well, not all of us do. We're going to have some valleys, right? You got to love them as they are, because you love them where they're at, then you will see them change accordingly. You're not here to change them, you're just here to support them. And that's what you want, support. Just like you need support, you're going to want to give them support as well. Let me take a little sip of water. Now, if you have a 7 personal year, that means avoid isolation. There's a tendency in the 7 personal year when you feel like being to yourself. You can isolate yourself from others, but don't cut yourself off. I'll say that again. If you're in a 7 personal year, you can isolate yourself to some extent, but do not cut yourself off. What's a cliche? Don't burn your bridges. Why? Because you may need to connect with people. So, but it is fine to grow in self sufficiency. I said that about the number one as well, being self sufficient, being more independent. But it's, if you're in the 7 personal year, what I've learned through all these years of studying numerology, you want to break any triangular situations that you have. What's a triangular relationship? Well, you know how that goes. A guy might be married, but he has a mistress. Like, why? If he's not getting along with his wife, find out why he's not getting along with his wife, but don't sneak off and have a mistress. Okay? Don't do that. Somebody is very close to you, it's your partner. Now, yeah, you might have friction. The friction might be there. The flames have gone out a little bit, but they can be revived. But you can't have a mistress on the side. And the mistress can't get all the attention that the wife should get. And the only reason the mistress is there because she doesn't have to be that deeply connected, invested in you. Something go wrong, she can cut the tie and go on. So sevens have to watch out for triangular situations. Here's another thing in a triangular situation that sevens will go through. They may not be connected to either one of the parties. They may not be connected to the wife nor the husband or the boyfriend, but they're there. There's a pivotal point because both people on some level are using them to see a different angle. But what happens is you get drawn in between. That's what actually happens. So you have to make a decision if you're in a 7 personal year. Hey, you might have to tell your friend who's married or not, or whoever is there between two people. You might have to tell them, look, I can't do this anymore. Yeah, I don't mind listening to your problems or your situations, but I'm not connected to them like you are. So I'd rather that you not come to me. And if you want to tell me, share some things, you can share some things, but I don't need to know the details. And if you act like I'm the counselor, you just both need to go see a couple counselor or a marital counselor and work on it from that angle. That's how you want to like extricate yourself out of the situation, and also may have to apologize. Look, I'm sorry, I found myself in the middle. So if you're in that 7 personal year, be aware of those kind of things. Also, when you're in 7 personal year, it's a good time to get involved with developing your psychic abilities, your intuitive nature more. If you're empathic, take classes, find somebody that you can really trust that has it all together and start to study with those people or that person. Also, learn to trust your inner abilities. Sometimes you have some natural things that give you that deeper understanding. So you might want to look at dreams or visions as they come up, or you may want to study those things on your own. However, you need to go about doing it if you're in a 7 personal year. A 7 personal year, I always say, is study yourself, but observe others. Study yourself, but observe others. Observe others with your 2 eyes. Study yourself with that inner eye and that eye that's in the heart. Take care of yourself. Do whatever you need to do. Also, it's a good time to take a retreat, take a break. If you're in the 8 personal year, what you want to do is be one who respects traditions, but up to a point. Respect your elders for sure. And if you can't respect them, find a reason to love them because they're going through things. And when you get into that bracket of your 60s, late 60s, your 70s, your 80s, your 90s, you're still exploring. You're still going through life. You're still uncovering new sides of yourself. Okay, that Saturn return kicks around a third time, right? So it's like 28 and then 56, and then they add 28 onto that, and that's 84. So you still are here in the 80s and you hit 84, you're getting a third shot, to be able to make your life better, improve upon your life, and improve upon yourself. Also, when you're in this 8, you got to be careful for being in positions that give you a certain amount of power and authority. Okay, so one of the things you don't want to do is abuse the power that you have. We see that all over, right? For the past umpteen years. You see people in certain positions. Politicians do it a lot. They get in a certain position and they abuse the power that they have. They abuse the authority that gives them to do something. All right. I used to remember being on Long Island and the mayor. People would be complaining about how come their streets, neighborhoods are not getting cleared out from the snow. And then someone saw the person driving a county truck, snowblower, on in the neighborhood that the mayor lived in and was making sure that their area was being plowed out nicely while everybody else had ice all over the place and up to here in snow. So sometimes people do that. They get in positions, they learn how to squirrel the money around back to themselves, but eventually they get caught. So if you're in an 8 personal year, 8 deals with finances and real estate, property, coins, collectible items. Be careful on how you handle those things and don't abuse the seat of power that you have. Also, don't hold grudges and don't live in the past too long. Sometimes we may hold on to something because we feel that it's supposed to give us something, like it's supposed to justify the feeling. But eventually, if you keep holding on to grudges and past things, past hurt, what happens? You get ill. You go from being mentally blown out to being emotionally blown out to being physically blown out. Have skin rashes, ulcers. Ulcers are the prime things that happen. People fall into drinking habits, drug habits, and it just goes on and on and on. So if you're in this 8 personal year and you've had those kind of experiences, one of the best things to do is get back to loving yourself unconditionally and forgive yourself for what happened. You may not be able to say or gain forgiveness from someone else, from a sibling or a former mate or a business partner, but you can definitely give it to yourself. And when you work on yourself enough times, emotionally and mentally, eventually all that stuff eases up. If you're in a 9 personal year, this is something that you want to do. Know when something is done. Now, people who are artists and musicians and dancers, they don't often know when something is done. Why? Because they're creating in the moment. And it takes a while to feel when a painting is done or to feel when a musical composition is complete. But it's never really complete. It's just done for that moment. But if you're involved in a partnership, business partnership, and relationship, you have to look at things differently. So when you're in a 9 personal year, you got to figure out, okay, is it time for this to be over because we had so much negative stuff that went down? Or the flip coin, you've had a lot of positive things. You're just running out of gas. You're running out of new ideas. So now what do you do? If you're in that 9 personal year, well, you just have to look at what is, right? ISIS. What is, what works and what doesn't work, and then move on from there. But if you're completing a cycle, it doesn't mean your life is over. It just means that you're moving into a higher spectrum, a higher strata of thinking for yourself. I always like to say it like this: reach for higher goals, reach for the impossible, and that way you will acquire all that is possible. Now, when you're in that 8 personal year, that's a Capricorn vibration. When you're in a 9 personal year, it's Aries and Scorpio vibrations. When you're in that 7 personal year, it's like a water sign or Pisces kind of vibration. So you want to pay great deal attention to those things because they can help you. Now, here's another key. If you know what your birthday number is, so let's go backwards. You're you're in a 9 personal year and your birthday number is a 9, 18, or 27th. That 9 personal year becomes a little bit hotter for you, a little bit more intense, fire and fire. But if you're under a water sign, well, it can even and balance itself out a little bit. But don't let your emotions get wrapped up into anything or to anyone. If you are a birthday number 9, 18, or 27, and you're going through a 9 personal year, ease up a little bit, ease up a little bit, take a step back and pay attention to what you hear, what you see, what you experience, and also what you're saying and doing as well. If you're born on the 8th, 17th, and 26th, and you're going through an 8 personal year, and all that stuff that's dealing with traditions, that's dealing with financial gain and financial loss, you're going to start paying more attention to how you feel about your finances, your material possessions, and things of that nature. If you're in a 7 personal year and you're born on 7, 16, and 25, we're in the 8 personal year, 8, 17, and 26, 7, 16, and 25 in a 7 personal year. Yeah, you're going to feel a little bit more intense. You're going to feel like, I need a vacation or I need to retreat. I need to go inside myself. I need to be quiet. Naturally, for a 7, get quiet. Be as quiet as possible. Not be secretive, be quiet. You don't want to get involved in covert activity or thinking if you're a number 7 person experiencing a 7 personal year. If you're a number 6 person, 6, 15, and 24, born in those numbers within any month, and you're experiencing a 6 personal year, yeah, might pay attention like, where do I need to be in service? Do I need to do some volunteer work? Do I need to work with families and children and couples? Or or do I need to go into the museum? Maybe take some courses on music appreciation, art appreciation. Just start appreciating what I have, what I've acquired. That's the nature of a 6 person experiencing a 6 personal year. If you are a 5 person, born on the 5th, the 14th, or the 23rd, and you're experiencing a 5 personal year, it would be very, very good for you to do the following: get rest and try not to have a heavy foot on the accelerator pedal when you're driving. Look both ways several times, especially if you're coming out on a street that has an angle or a curve to it. And if you know streets where people are parked up and you can't see, I advise you not to go out that way. I seen it here all the time in the city of Albuquerque. I see when I go to my supermarket down the road, or I feel like eating out at the vegetarian vegan place, people will pull out of the parking lot and they need to go north on 4th Street. What happens is they don't come out the other way where they could be on the side street by the traffic light. No, some people love that daring nature. Let's cut across the street. So either you got to wait for no traffic within about what, 25, 50 yards away, then you can make that turn, or you're going to have to go the other way and find a place where you can come out on a side street where there's a traffic light. It just happens all the time. Usually, if people aren't paying attention, a near accident or an accident will take place. So This is the nature. We have to watch what we're doing, watch how we're moving in our lives, and we have to learn how to slow things down. So if you have that 5 personal year, take your time. If you got to give a lecture or you got to do some motivational speaking, you need to do some research, get your facts in order. Now, if you're a number 4 person and you're experiencing that 4 personal year, sometimes you're going to change your mind sporadically. Sometimes you might be around where there's a lot of confusion. You don't need that, right? You don't need confusion. What you need is peace. If you are going through that, you need to change that, right? Now I'm going to show you some other things too that are coming to mind so that you can have a better understanding of these numbers, your birthday number and the personal year number that you're going through. I'm just matching it up for you. If you're born on a 3, right? If the 4, that was a 4, 13, 22, and 31st in a 4 personal year. But what if you're experiencing a 3 personal year and you're born on either the 3rd, the 12th, the 21st, or the 30th? Okay. If that's you out there and you're experiencing a 3 personal year, your emotions are going to be wonky. They're going to be up and down, up and down. People may not take you seriously, or you might talk too much, or you might embellish a story a little bit. Because the nature of a 3 birthday person, they're good at telling a story. They're the greatest storytellers to know. They're the greatest at being a host of a party. They make sure they have the right people there so that they get along, and they make sure everybody's plate is full and your drink is full all the time. You never lack it anything at a party thrown by a number 3. But if you're the number 3 and you're experiencing the 3 personal year, you just want to put a check on your emotions. Pay attention to the animals in your house, the first kingdom. Also, pay attention to children or young people in your house. They got something of importance to say. If you're born on the 2nd, the 11th, the 29th, or the 20th, and you're experiencing a 2 personal year, pay attention to how you feel about the partnerships and relationships, business, marital, romantic, or friendships that are happening in your circles. Pay attention. Look at details, look at the little things that you may not be paying attention to so that there's no flare ups. If you're born on the 1st, 10th, 19th, and 28th, and you're experiencing a 1 personal year, you might be wanting to be independent, but take your time. Put the ego in check. Nature of the one is the ego. Nature of the one got to be courageous, got to take a stance, but you don't have to be right all the time. Share the spotlight with others. Now, here's something else, and then I'll close this out. What if you are a water sign person that's either Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces? And what if, now keeping that in mind in the back of your mind, what if the number that you're born on doesn't match the personal year that you're going through? So let's say if you're a Scorpio person, and as a Scorpio person, which is a fixed water sign, you happen to be born on a birthday number that adds to 8. Now that's a earthy kind of quality, right? More practical. Sometimes got to watch out for extreme thought patterns and extreme actions. Okay, so here you are, November the 8th. But what if you're going through a 4? You're in a 4 personal year. So now you got to look at things differently. Usually, the general rule of thumb is 4 and 8 are in opposition. Even though they're even numbers, they're in opposition, but they're slow moving numbers because they represent Saturn 8 slow and Uranus 4 slow. Okay, so they seem to be moving a little bit differently. So there could be some difficulties. You might go through some difficulties. Your financial picture might be way up here, but you could make the wrong decision and be way down here because you're going through a 4 personal year. So these are just different things to look at. What if you're a 9 person and you're in a water sign? Well, 9 is still fire, but it's also a little bit of water too. All right. So what will happen is it's carrying that Mars influence inside the water sign, but now it's up against a 4 personal year. This is what I notice over the years that happens. When a 9 meets up with a 4, boom, explosions. It seems like explosions happen out of nowhere. What kind of explosions? Well, it could be some situations where two people are talking, boom, and it's an argument. It just goes haywire. But what usually happens, it will return. It will return to where it's okay again. But just be aware. Or you might be dealing with different personalities. So you could be the 9 inside of a water sign and up against a nature of a number 4 person, or you might be going through a 4 personal year. There's going to be some dramatic changes going on. So you kind of have to pull back a little bit, let things settle, and then start again, but from a different angle. Well, what if you have a air sign, like let's say Libra, born in the month of October, Libra born in the month of October, and they have the number 6. Okay, so 6 is a Venus kind of quality in numerology, and that's more like a little bit of Taurus and Libra. So, but they got that 6 happening, and so they're like a double 6 vibration. But let's say they're going through a 1 personal year, well, it's not going to flow as easily for them because the 1 and 6 are usually in opposition to each other. So they might find themselves working a little harder to become more independent. Now, it could happen if they're born in October, which is a 1 in itself, root 1, because then by that time they were on their own before they hit age 21. They're on their own. They're living by themselves and they know how to handle themselves. So they know how to take good care of themselves. So I just wanted to bring up that information. If you got any questions, you can leave your questions in the comment section. You can replay this, listen to it again. This is Clear Blue Radiance. I'm the host of this presentation every Thursday, usually at 1 o'clock. Try to go for 30 minutes, but today I felt like talking. And I'm a Pisces 7. I like to talk when I got to talk. So thank you. Hit the like button if you liked it. Tell your friends about the channel. Also, start to, if you're in the vicinity here at Resident Essentials, we got a lot of great things going on in Albuquerque. Resident Essentials is located at 3107 Eubank. That's Eubank Boulevard Northeast, just north of the intersection of Eubank and Candelaria Boulevard, and 3107 right opposite the street, right opposite that entrance. 3107 is the Scottsdale Village Shopping Plaza. Well, right across the street from it, as a landmark, is Silver Lanes Bowling Lanes. Okay, that's right across the street from 3107. So you want to come on in and come to the second building, not the first building. Is like yellow and black. That's a chicken place. Food, you can get food there. You see a little opening, and then the next building starts and it's green with black trim. That's Resident Essentials, Suite door 33 and 34. You will enter through 34. And if you're there on Saturdays, 12 noon to 1 p.m., I'm there for an hour teaching meditation, my creative pathwork meditation series. And I also teach you how to get into breathing, what's the best way to breathe, easiest way for you to do deep breathing. And I can take you into guided meditation. I try to keep it as simple as possible. I use color rays that also affect you in different ways. And I can take you into what is called silence, the silent method, which gets you to listen internally and hear the words and wisdoms from your guidance, your spirit guides, your helpers, whatever you may call them, and also higher vibrational energy fields, also dealing with ancestors, immediate ones who have passed over. Can help you do all of that. If you want more information, all you got to do is email me at iam.circlegrace1 at gmail.com. Now, I'm affiliated with Resident Essentials, so I'm teaching there every Saturday from 12 noon to 1 p.m. Coming up this Sunday, we always hold it every second Sunday. We have a psychic fair, and you can come to that psychic fair 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. If you want more information, contact Michelle at Resident Essentials. You can ask questions through the Resident Essentials group page on Facebook, or you can leave the message right in here for her. Okay. Or you can go Michelle at residentessentials.com, and she'll get right back in touch with you. It'll be a great time. I think we're doing something. We got people who are doing readings and healings. I'm doing celestial I am drawings there. However, we have Amber here will be there. She's going to be doing something special with Reiki during the fair. You get two opportunities to experience Reiki with her. Okay, so you want to be there and see all of us and meet all of us. That will be this Sunday, June the 12th. This Sunday, June the 12th, from 12 p.m. to 5 p.m. This Sunday, our Resident Essentials monthly psychic and healing fair. On Mondays, here at Resident Essentials group page here, Resident Essentials YouTube channel, Swanda, that's Michelle, will be in, and she'll be giving you some great metaphysical teachings. And she does that at 12 p.m. So you want to tune in Mondays, 12 p.m. at Resident Essentials YouTube channel and listen to Michelle. And then usually on Tuesdays or Wednesdays, I think it's Wednesdays, we have Donna of Dominion Tarot. She gives tarot card reading, one card reading. She also gives you a topic that she goes into first. And then for anybody that wants a one card reading, she gives you a one card reading. Okay. And then on Thursdays, here I am at 1 p.m. I'm here with Clear Blue Radiance. That's my brand new name here. I'm loving it. I'm seeing blue. And I can see you too. See you next week here on Thursday at 1 p.m. for Clear Blue Radiance. I might continue with some numerology. I'm not sure yet. I might talk about dreams. We'll see. I got to tune in and see what my ancestors would have me share with you. Until next time, my grace is your grace. Remember that divine grace is a blessing as we're alive and well in the age of remembrance. See you real soon. Take good care of yourself and know that all will be well for you. See you next week.